What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we're going to be talking about the changes for the FR556, which in my opinion hasn't really been discussed a lot. We've been hearing mainly just about the KSP and a little bit about the UL736, which, well, I will get into at some point, but right now let's just focus on this gun. So the FR556 has pretty much been in this game for well over a year. I believe it started right on year 2 on season 1. This was a weapon that a lot of us expected to be a burst, because whenever you see a weapon like this, which is the FAMAS, it's typically a burst weapon. They actually threw us a curveball and made it full auto, which was kind of weird to all of us, but it's something that we just accepted at some point. Of course, I would go as far as to say, in my personal opinion, this is probably one of the only assault rifles that released in this game that wasn't completely overpowered. The FR556 was one of those assault rifles that just no one really ever had an issue with. A lot of people had issues using it because of the horizontal recoil, which I will get into right now. But in, the recent history with this game, we've had a lot of, destructive assault rifles. We had the Kilo with the one-shot headshot shit, the 43 damage. We had the M13, which is still, I'm not sure if it's meta right now, but it's still very, very effective. We had the Swordfish, which is kind of more of a camper's weapon, but it still is pretty annoying to deal with. But out of all of them that got released in recent history, the FR556 was the only one that I could think of that wasn't so scummy. It was really fair for the most part. There wasn't really a lot of things people would complain about, with the exception of one, which is the horizontal recoil. So I know a lot of people were kind of turned off by this. It probably would have been a more effective gun at the time. But yeah, the horizontal recoil was probably the worst feature for this weapon. Of course, they did make some patches to alleviate that issue, but they didn't do it that much. Kind of like how the PPSH was. They tried to lower the horizontal recoil a little bit, but it didn't quite get the job done. Yes, if you want to use an extended light barrel or something, yes, it would help with the recoil just a little bit, but really the best option for horizontal recoil control was the steady stock. The steady stock kind of acted as a lifeline for the weapon. If you didn't have it on, it wasn't going to be completely stable. That's the only attachment that is a must for this gun. Of course, if you guys are a little bit daring, or if you want to use the extended light barrel, I mean, go right ahead. But with the range of this weapon, it is really unnecessary. They did make some adjustments with the steady stock, though. Back in the day, all it would do was just remove some of your ADS movement speed, but then they made it so that you actually do lose a little bit of ADS speed. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, it made it a little bit slower, so you have to be more careful with what attachments you would put on the FR. But again, the steady stock still serves as some sort of lifeline for the gun. Without it, it's nothing. So despite the changes that they've made with horizontal recoil, they did do some adjustments to, I think, bullet spread accuracy, but at the same time, I still kind of deemed it unnecessary, because obviously, if anything, I think the FR556 might actually be the most accurate assault rifle in the entire category, if I'm not mistaken. Or I don't know, it might actually be the Swordfish because of the halberd mag. But yes, this weapon does not have its bullets stray away as much as like other weapons do, and that's probably one of the biggest pluses for the FR556. And that's something, well, that's one of the primary reasons as to why I use it so much. Even at the time when assault rifles didn't have the same range that they do right now, with Can 44s and M13s and stuff, I would say that the FR had probably the most solid range. They did improve it a little bit, but I think up to, like, I believe 26 meters, that's where the 4-shot potential kind of stops. And one of the weirdest things, which they did change, is the headshot damage. So no matter where you shot, like, it would do like maybe 30 damage, but when you shot in the head, it still did 30 damage. So you weren't really rewarded for being a little bit more accurate than normal. And I always thought that, I've always considered it. I was like, maybe they should, make some changes to the headshot multiplier. And at the same time, I didn't want them to overdo it to the point where all you need is one to get a 3-shot kill. But I think they did a pretty good job, because they did improve it so that so long as you land 3 shots, you're still going to get a 3-shot kill. So if you look at the stats for the weapon, the headshot damage was indeed increased to 33.8, making it so that you could actually get a 3-shot if you land all those 3 shots into the person's head. This goes up to 26 meters, might I add. But also, unlike a lot of assault rifles where they have like multiple different ranges where the damage drops, you know, sometimes like I think the DRH has like 4 or 5 or like 6 of them. This one only has 2. So once you go past 26 meters, the damage isn't going to lower anymore. It's just going to stay the same. I will say that the damage drop off after 26 meters is kind of like overdoing it, because you go from like 33 headshot damage to like 24, so it is a pretty significant drop. It goes down to a 5-shot kill, but at long range I don't really think it's gonna matter. I mean, I hope not, but yes, it's still a viable weapon. And if you want to extend the range with, let's say, long shot, which I do personally, or with a monolithic suppressor, or even the extended light barrels, you can increase it up to, I think, maybe 30 plus meters. But even then, I don't really think you have to. I think the long shot perk is enough, just so you can maintain some speed. I only say that because with the steady stock, it does make the gun pretty slow. But again, the FR is more or less a laser beam. So now that we talked about all the important details, it's kind of, well, I guess the question now is whether or not they did a good job with this patch. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think they did. I honestly didn't really care if they made any other changes, because I thought the FR before was fine. But the only thing that bothered me was probably just the headshot multiplier, because you should at least be rewarded for being more accurate, right? I just didn't want them to go overboard to the point where it's unbearable to deal with, kind of like the Kilo 141 pre-patch. But at the end of the day, they did a pretty good job at not, you know, screwing it up. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mode videos. I'll see you guys next time.